I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who hides bruises under long sleeves. I never thought I'd be the woman who lies to her friends, or sleeps with one eye open. But here I am. And this is how it started. When I first met Jason, he wasn't a monster. He was charming, warm, the kind of man who remembered my coffee order and opened the car door every single time. I felt safe with him. Like someone had finally seen me after years of being invisible. But monsters don't show their teeth right away. They wait. The first red flag was small. He didn't like when I spent weekends with my sister. He said he missed me too much. Then he didn't like the dress I wore because it was too short. Then he didn't like my job because there were too many men around. Little by little, my life stopped being mine. I kept telling myself he was just protective. That he loved me. That everyone had flaws. Everything changed the night he came home drunk. I was sitting on the couch, editing photos on my laptop. He stumbled inside, slamming the door so hard the frame shook. "Where were you?" he asked. His voice didn't sound like his voice. It was low, sharp, full of something I had never heard before. "I was home all day," I said. He didn't believe me. He grabbed my phone. Scrolled more. And with every swipe, I saw the anger building in him like a storm. Then he found a text from my boss. "Great job on the project. Proud of you." That was it. That stupid, innocent message set him off. He threw my phone against the wall. It shattered. "Who was he proud of?" he shouted. Before I could answer, before I could even take a breath, his hand hit my face. The shock of it felt unreal, like the moment the world split in two, before and after. Before, I still believed he loved me. After, I finally saw him. He apologized. He cried. He swore it would never happen again. But men like him repeat their promises more than their apologies. And deep down, I already knew, this was only the beginning. The morning after he hit me, I woke up before Jason. The house felt cold, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. I walked to the bathroom and turned on the light. The bruise on my cheek was darker now, spreading toward my jaw like ink on paper. I stared at myself for a long time. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stood there, wondering how I became this version of me, the version I swore I'd never be. When Jason woke up, he acted like nothing happened. He wrapped his arms around me in the kitchen. Asked if I wanted pancakes, kissed the top of my head like he hadn't slapped me hard enough to make my ears ring. That morning, I understood something important. He wasn't sorry for hurting me. He was sorry for losing control. There's a difference. Later that day, he bought me a necklace. Said it reminded him of my eyes. He placed it around my neck gently, his fingers brushing my skin. I felt trapped, like the necklace was another one of his chains. I tried calling my sister, but he took my phone to fix a battery issue. I knew it wasn't about the battery. He wanted to read my messages. He wanted access to everything, my thoughts, my fears, my life. By evening, he had already rewritten the story in his head. He said he only hit me because he was scared of losing me. He said he loved me so much it hurt. Then he said something that chilled me more than the slap. "I just need you to listen. If you listened, things wouldn't get this far." In that moment, I understood what he saw me as. Not a partner. Not a woman he loved. But something to control. Something to shape. Something he believed he owned. The next few days only confirmed it. He demanded to know where I was every minute. He needed proof I was telling the truth, photos, videos, timestamps. If I didn't answer quickly enough, he showed up wherever I was. Once at my job. Once at the grocery store. Once at a friend's house I hadn't seen in months. He said it was because he loved me. But love doesn't follow you like a shadow you're trying to outrun. One night, he took my car keys because he didn't want me driving alone. He stood by the door when I tried to go for a walk. He asked who I was trying to impress when I put on makeup for work. I told him he was overreacting. He said I was starting fights. The bruise on my face was fading, but the fear inside me wasn't. I started hiding things, small things, like an extra phone charger, some cash, a copy of my ID. Part of me already knew I'd need them. Because the man sleeping beside me no longer saw me as human. And the woman staring back at me in the mirror was slowly disappearing. But I hadn't seen the worst of him yet. Not even close. For 2 days after he hit me, Jason acted like nothing happened. He brought me breakfast in bed. He bought flowers, my favorite ones. He kissed the same cheek he bruised, pretending it wasn't painful. I didn't know what scared me more, the night he lost control, or the morning he pretended he didn't. I told myself I would leave. I even started packing a small bag, just in case. But every time I thought about walking out the door, I remembered the way he looked at me the night before. That look, like he owned me. Like he would rather destroy me than let me go, and I wasn't sure what he was capable of yet. Things got worse slowly, the way poison spreads. He started showing up at my job unannounced. Not to surprise me, to check on me. He counted the minutes I took for lunch. He questioned every coworker who happened to look in my direction. I tried to convince myself he was just insecure. That he'd calm down eventually. That love could fix him. But then came the night that truly broke me. I got home late from work because of traffic. Just 10 minutes. 10 minutes. When I walked inside, Jason was sitting in the dark. No TV. No lights. Just him, waiting. "Where were you?" he asked. I explained, but he didn't listen. He never listened anymore. He stood up and walked toward me slowly, like he already knew the ending of the scene we were in. My heart was pounding so loud I could feel it in my throat. "Who were you with?" he asked. I told you, traffic. He didn't believe me. He grabbed my wrist and pulled me into the living room. My bag fell to the floor. His grip tightened, and I felt my skin turning numb. Then he pushed me onto the couch. Not enough to injure me, just enough to show he could. He leaned over me, his face inches from mine. His breath smelled like whiskey. His eyes looked empty. "If you ever lie to me again," he said quietly, "I swear, you won't walk away from this house." At that moment, I realized something terrifying. He didn't just want control. He wanted obedience. He wanted me small, afraid, completely his. And suddenly, I knew. If I didn't leave soon, I might not survive the next time he got angry. So that night, when he finally fell asleep, I sat on the bathroom floor with the door locked, shaking, staring at my reflection in the mirror. My face looked older. My eyes looked tired. And I whispered to myself the truth I had been avoiding for months: I wasn't safe. Not anymore. I had to get out. But leaving a man like Jason wasn't simple. Men like him don't let you walk away. They hunt you. And deep down, I already knew he wouldn't let me go without a fight. I didn't sleep that night. My mind kept replaying the scene of Emily standing between me and Mark, her hands shaking, her voice breaking as she begged us to stop. By morning, I already knew what I had to do. I packed a small backpack, grabbed all important documents, and waited for Emily to wake up. When she opened the door and saw me sitting there fully dressed, she froze. I told her it was time. No more fear. No more running. No more excuses for a man who destroyed everything he touched. She didn't argue. She just nodded, as if she had been waiting for this moment longer than I realized. We left the house quietly, like fugitives escaping in the early light. I kept looking over my shoulder, terrified Mark would wake up and storm after us. Emily held my arm tightly, and I could feel how hard she was shaking. I tried to keep my voice steady for her, even though my own hands wouldn't stop trembling. We reached the car, and when I closed the door, it felt like closing a chapter of my life. But the fear didn't disappear. Fear never disappears that fast. We drove to a women's shelter 2 towns away. The moment we walked in, I finally felt the weight lift just a little. A counselor came over, calm and gentle, asking if we needed help. Emily spoke first. Her voice cracked, but she didn't cry. She told them everything. How long he had been hurting me. How many times she had begged him to stop. How many times I had lied to protect him. Hearing my daughter explain my pain broke me in a way no punch ever could. Because she shouldn't have known any of that. She shouldn't have lived like that. When they brought us into a small room to rest, I sat on the bed and stared at the wall. Emily leaned her head on my shoulder. She whispered that she was proud of me. I almost burst into tears. Proud. Nobody had used that word about me in years. For a moment, the world felt quiet. Safe. Different. But safety never lasts long when you leave an abuser. My phone began vibrating over and over. Calls. Messages. Threats. Apologies. Promises. The cycle I had memorized too well. Emily grabbed my phone and turned it off. She told me we weren't going back, no matter what he said or did. And for the first time, I believed her. For the first time, I believed in myself too. Later, when the counselor asked if I wanted to file a report, I hesitated, but then I remembered Emily standing between us, protecting me when it should have been the other way around. I couldn't let him destroy her life the way he almost destroyed mine. So I said yes. My voice didn't shake. Not even once. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. I wasn't running anymore. I was fighting. The courtroom was colder than I expected. Not the temperature, but the feeling. The walls were white, the lights bright, and yet everything felt heavy. I sat beside my lawyer, my hands pressed together so tightly my fingers hurt. Emily was behind me, close enough that I could feel her presence, like a quiet shield. When they brought Mark in, he looked different. Not powerful. Not loud. Just small. For years he made me believe he controlled everything. But now, surrounded by people who knew the truth, all that control finally slipped out of his hands. He didn't look at me at first, but when his eyes finally met mine, something inside me shifted. I thought I would feel fear. Or guilt. Or even anger. But I felt nothing. Just a calm I hadn't known in years. Like my heart finally understood it no longer belonged to him. When they asked me to speak, I stood slowly. My legs were shaking, but my voice wasn't. I told them exactly what he had done. How many times I had hidden bruises. How many times Emily had cried herself to sleep because she didn't know how to protect me. I didn't scream, didn't break down. I spoke like someone who had survived a fire and was now describing the smoke. Clear. Direct. Honest. Mark tried to interrupt, tried to twist the story, but it didn't matter anymore. Too much evidence. Too many witnesses. Too many years of pain finally exposed to the light. When the judge announced the decision, Mark's face collapsed. Not in regret, but in disbelief. As if he truly thought he would walk away again. As if he had forgotten that Emily and I were no longer the same frightened people he once controlled. When it was over, I walked out of the courthouse with Emily at my side. The air outside felt different. Lighter. I didn't realize I was crying until Emily wrapped her arms around me. She kept repeating that she was proud of me, that we were finally free. And for the first time in a long time, I let myself believe it. Truly believe it. We moved into a small apartment a few months later. Nothing fancy. Just quiet. Peaceful. Ours. I found a job at a local cafe, and every morning I opened the door with a smile I thought I had lost forever. Emily started therapy, and I did too. Healing wasn't fast. Some nights were hard. Some memories still cut deep, but every step forward felt like reclaiming a piece of my life. One evening, as we sat on our tiny balcony watching the sun go down, Emily said something I will never forget. She told me that strength doesn't come from never breaking. It comes from choosing to rebuild after you do. She said I was the strongest woman she knew. And hearing that from her meant more than any court ruling ever could. Because Mark didn't win. Fear didn't win. Silence didn't win. We did. And now, for the first time, our future feels like something we can shape with our own hands. No more shadows. No more fear. Just two women rebuilding their lives, step by step, and finally learning what freedom really feels like.